Do you ever feel like this? Or what about this? Do you ever feel like you're doing too much? If you're a busy person and you don't have much time to do anything else besides go to work or go to school, you're probably stressed. I'm sure you're wondering what exactly stress is. Not only am I going to tell you about stress, but I'm going to tell you about what causes it, the side effects you may get, and also how to properly manage it. I'm sure sometimes you get this feeling that you're doing too much, like there isn't enough time in your day to complete every task that needs to be completed. There's a term for feeling like this. It's called stress. Now, what exactly is stress? WebMD.com says that stress is what you feel when you handle more than what you're used to. When you're stressed, your body responds as though you're in danger. It makes hormones that speed up your heart. It makes you breathe faster, and it gives you a burst of energy. This is called the fight or flight stress plan. HealthCenter.info says that there are 4 main types of stress that people experience. Number 1 is eustress, which is a good stress, and it's a short-term stress that provides immediate strength. An example of eustress would be a gymnast right before their competition. Distress is a negative stress brought about by constant readjustments or alterations in a routine. An example of distress would be someone who is constantly relocating or changing their jobs. Hyperstress is when an individual is pushed beyond what he or she can handle. An example of hyperstress would be a Wall Street trader. The 4th type of stress that people experience is hypostress. And hypostress is the exact opposite of hyperstress because hyperstress occurs when the individual is bored or they're unchallenged. A factory worker who performs repetitive tasks would be an example of hyperstress. 75% of the general population experiences at least some stress every 2 weeks, and half of those experience moderate or high levels of stress during the same 2-week period. One way to know if you're stressed is to notice the way you're acting, to see if you have any symptoms. The symptoms of stress are separated into 4 categories: cognitive, emotional, physical, and behavioral. A few symptoms of stress that are cognitive symptoms can range from memory problems to poor judgment to constant worrying. A few emotional symptoms could be moodiness, feeling overwhelmed, or feeling general unhappiness or depression. As for physical symptoms, that can range anywhere from aches and pains to having frequent colds to feeling dizzy and having nausea. Behavioral symptoms can include eating more than you normally do or even eating less than you normally do, sleeping too much or even sleeping too little, even nervous habits such as biting your nails or even pacing the floor. There are a lot of things that can cause stress. The situations and pressures that cause stress are known as the stressors. What causes stress depends at least in part on your perception of it. Something that's stressful to you may not faze someone else. They may even enjoy it. HelpGuide.org states that the common external causes of stress are major life changes, work, relationship difficulties, financial problems, being too busy, and children and family. HelpGuide.org also states that the most common internal causes of stress are inability to accept uncertainty, pessimism, negative self-talk, unrealistic expectations, perfectionism, and lack of assertiveness. WebMD.com also includes the status of your health, especially if you have a chronic illness such as heart disease, diabetes, or arthritis, conflicts with your beliefs and values, your surroundings, and your social situation, such as being poor, feeling lonely, or facing discrimination based on your race, your gender, your age, or even your sexual orientation as other causes of stress. According to the Holmes-Ray Life Stress Inventory, The top 10 most stressful life events are a spouse's death, divorce, marriage separation, a jail term, death of a close relative, injury or illness, marriage, being fired from a job, marriage reconciliation, and retirement. I guess the most stressful life events revolve around marriage. What are the effects of stress? Stress causes changes in your body, and it can also affect your emotions. WebMD.com also says that the common symptoms of stress includes an accelerated heartbeat, a stiff neck and/or tight shoulders, and back pain. Effects of stress can go anywhere from your brain and nerves all the way to your immune system. A few effects of stress in your brain and nerves can be headaches, feelings of despair, having mental health problems such as panic attacks, or even anxiety disorders. And effects in your skin could be having acne or other skin problems that you've never really had to deal with before. As for your stomach, you can experience nausea, regular stomach pain, heartburn, or you can even gain weight. In your pancreas, when you're stressed, you are at an increased risk for having diabetes. Long-term exposure to stress can lead to serious health problems. Constant stress can affect your immune system and cause you to get sick more frequently. Stress can also affect your heart. It is linked to high blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, or arrhythmia, blood clots, hardening of the arteries, or atherosclerosis, as well as coronary artery disease, heart attack, and heart failure. You'll know if stress is affecting your emotions if you become cranky and are unable to deal with small problems, feel frustrated and lose your temper, feel jumpy or tired all the time, and find it hard to focus on some tasks. The best way to manage your stress is to find some coping techniques. Self-relief techniques focus on relaxing your mind and your body. WebMD.com gives a few examples on relaxing your mind, such as writing, whether it's writing a letter to someone or just writing how you feel down on a piece of paper. Letting your feelings out by talking to someone. It could be a therapist or it could be someone in your family. Or doing something that you enjoy, like a hobby or a fun creative activity. As well as examples for relaxing your body, such as exercising, breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, and things such as yoga or Tai Chi. Ways not to go about coping with your stress, according to helpguide.org, are things such as smoking, drinking, overeating and undereating, too much TV or computer, and withdrawing yourself from family, friends, and the people around you. When dealing with stressful situations, you need to use the 4 A's. What are the 4 A's? Avoid the stressor, alter the stressor, adapt to the stressor, and accept the stressor. Keep your stress under control by avoiding other stress. Learn how to say no. Avoid people who stress you out. Take control of your environment. Avoid hot-button topics, and pare down your to-do list. Alter the situation by expressing your feelings instead of bottling them up. Be willing to compromise. Be more assertive, and manage your time better. Adapt to the stressor by reframing the problems, looking at the big picture, adjusting your standards, and focusing on the positive. Accept the things that you can't change by not trying to control the uncontrollable. Looking at the upside of things, sharing your feelings, and learning how to forgive. Be sure to make time for fun things and begin to adapt a healthy lifestyle. You'll find that your stress will decrease mildly just by adapting a fun lifestyle and wanting to become healthy. Now, I know after hearing my speech, you probably feel a little less stressed because you know more about it. You know exactly what's going on and just how it can affect you. I've given you many ways to release your stress, but there's one thing that I personally love to do when I'm stressed that I didn't mention. Are you wondering what that is? I like to dance.